kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Today we are going to study from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, verse number 16. Jnanena tu tad ajnanam yesham nashitam atmanah tesham aditya vajnanam prakashayati tatparam. Translation. When, however, one is enlightened with the knowledge by which nescience is destroyed, then his knowledge reveals everything, as the sun lights up everything in the daytime. So here Krishna is talking about spiritual knowledge and how valuable it is to change one's lifestyle, the way everything is supposed to be seen and perceived. It is very, very funny for me to see what I did in the past and how so many people are completely covered over by this illusory energy, or also called Maya. I see most people working very, very hard to go to school and study for years and years, and then just to get a little piece of paper that says you're so-and-so engineer, and then get a job that you will have to work 12 hours and very, very hard labor, and then get entangled with a huge mortgage and debt, 30-year debt. And it's just like one after another decision that's just completely blind to the real needs of the human being. And it is really because of ignorance. When I see the surrounding of where I live, so it's a beautiful place, and there's a beautiful lake, and there's nature all around me. It's so peaceful, so beautiful, that I would never think of going back to living in a city or having that kind of lifestyle in which I'm always in debt and working for someone all my life just to pay that debt. So this is ignorance. When we don't have spiritual knowledge, we think, oh, well, that's what everyone is doing, so I should work really hard just like everyone else. And even if one wants to start a business, even business is an incredible burden, because if one wants to grow that business after a certain level, then there's so many rules to follow and so many permissions to get and bribes and all kinds of nonsense. So the spiritual life is very wonderful because it gives you knowledge which destroys this nescience, this ignorance of what am I supposed to do. You know, these persons that work very hard all their life, they don't really enjoy their life. By the time they're old, they're usually always angry or lamenting because, oh, I couldn't do what I wanted, and now I'm old, and now I'm always sick, and always thinking that when I was young, life was good, and now everything is horrible. So this whole life experience is just because of ignorance. And when we receive knowledge, as Krishna is saying, this knowledge that destroys the nescience, then we can achieve nice, peaceful, and wonderful spiritual advancement. It is a completely different lifestyle. And it never ceases to amaze me how, even though the choice is there, and I post videos all the time explaining all these things, still people don't want to see. And as soon as they hear, oh, it's about loving God or something about God. No, I'd rather work really hard. It's like someone is son of a millionaire, and he says, no, I don't recognize my dad. I'd rather be poor. And I'm like, but your dad is millionaire. You don't even have to work. Everything will be supplied. And the young person will say, no, I don't recognize my dad. He feels very rebellious, independent. So it's the same mood I get from most people. They're in some kind of atheistic point of view, or just very anti-religion. But they don't know that when one follows a spiritual path, and then everything is solved. All these problems of life is automatically taken away by the mercy of God. It's just like that the son of a rich man. He just recognizes, oh, my father is a millionaire. Why do I need to suffer? Everything is easy. Everything is there already. So it says here, then his knowledge reveals everything, as the sun lights up everything in the daytime. So this should be your experience as you watch these videos and as you study Bhagavad Gita and other wonderful Vedic scriptures, that you suddenly start to see the world as it is, and not as this illusion that television and media presents, and most people are completely asleep. And you start to see, just like the sun comes up and illuminates everything, with spiritual knowledge, you should experience the same effect, that you start to see things as they are. Oh, wow, this guy, he doesn't need to do that. And why do I eat meat? It's not necessary. I'm not healthier. In fact, here in Chapala, in Mexico, everyone is retired from America, and they are all in extreme disease. They can't eat any sugar. They can't eat anything sweet, or even cheese, milk products, because they're used to eating all kinds of nonsense. And by the time they're old, then they're forced to do austerity. So why not just take a simple diet from the beginning, vegetarian diet that's pure and organic and fresh, and live in a peaceful place? It just makes so much sense. But these poor conditioned souls, they don't see the truth. They don't see who they are and what the purpose of life is. And they just work hard, and they work hard, and then they work hard a little more. And they never develop a relationship with God. And it's just miserable. And it's unfortunately, it's happening a lot also in Eastern countries, in India, for example. A lot of young Indians, they say, oh, I want to go to America. And they have this American dream. And then when you speak with someone who has lived the American dream from India, they got into the stock market and they lost everything. Then they're divorced because they got a wife that's not very fond of Vedic principles, so they just get very easily just divorced. And then they lost their money because the economy, the financial crisis, and it's just one sad story after another. And this is the American dream. Very similar thing what happens to artists when they go to Hollywood. Maybe one makes it, but 1,000 or 10,000 just struggle as bartenders and like that. So life is not meant to work just like that hard all the time. It's meant to understand God, to understand what is the purpose of life, what is my duty in this world, what will make me happy, who I am in reality, and to, at the end of life, or even within this body, to meet God face to face and get relieved from all these problems of birth, old age, disease. Live a simple life which is not full of greed and ambition, but just get enough resources, income to maintain yourself, and then help others, or do some kind of activity that will benefit humankind. You will never regret this kind of activity, and at the end of your life you will be like, oh, this is a life worth living, doing something beautiful, and something that not only beautiful, but that it will benefit you as a spirit soul for the rest of eternity. So please consider all these things and try to learn this knowledge. Open Bhagavad Gita as it is, very wonderful book, and start reading it and get to know more about Vedic knowledge. I guarantee that it will have this particular effect, that it will open your eyes and you will see just like when the sun comes out. If you have any comments or questions, please visit our website, thevedic.way.org. Thank you. Hare Krishna.